Good morning. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. We'll get started a couple minutes after 11. Well, maybe 11 for you. Maybe it's not. It's 11 for me. If you will, while we wait to get started, if you'll put in the city and state where you're calling in from or where you're joining us from today into the chat. We're going to use chat just a couple times today, but want to make sure you can find it. It should be on the right-hand side of your screen. And there, it says chat. Hopefully you can find it pretty easily. We find that we like this platform because it is pretty easy to use. Awesome. Got Texas and Oklahoma, Houston and Dallas area, Plano. Awesome. Great. We're also going to use another tool today, and I'm going to say this again, so if you miss it, don't worry. We're also going to use polls. When I open them, they should also just pop right up on that right-hand side of your screen. Welcome from San Antonio. I'm going to give it another two-ish minutes, probably about 3 minutes after the hour, and we'll get started on our content today. We are talking about employee development. It's a topic that I find sometimes we don't pay as much attention to, but it can really benefit not only the employees, but the employer as well, for helping to retain that talent and move people along in their career path. So, like I said, give it another 2 minutes and we will get started. Welcome to those of you who did just join us. We're going to get started in just about another minute. We are talking about employee development today. And first things first, if you haven't already, if you can enter the city and state where you're calling in from the chat, it should be located on that right-hand side. Just helps me know that you can find it because we are going to use it a couple times today. And it's more fun if we get some participation going. So appreciate that. Yes, we've got another Oklahoma, Kansas, some more Texas and San Antonio and Wichita Falls. Thank you for joining us today. We're also going to be doing some polling today. When those open, they should open also on that right-hand side. So, all right. We may have some others join us, so I may say something about chat again, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to be cognizant of your time. First of all, again, thank you for joining us today. We're really glad you did. And we are going to get started with talking about employee development. I'm Samantha Cox. I'm your presenter today. I've been with Employer Flexible since 2022. Before that, I was also with another PEO. So I've been in PEO about 15 years. PEO is a professional employer organization. And I greatly love this business and how it works and what we can help you do as a small to medium business owner and take some administrative burden off of you. So again, welcome. Let's hop right in, and we are going to do a poll straight off the top. Right before we talk about our agenda, I want to go ahead and get this poll up for you guys. It should pop up on your screen. And what I want to know is, do you currently have an employee development program? Is it something that you have in place? Yes, no, just kind of seeing where everybody is. And again, that should be, if it didn't pop up on the right-hand side of your screen, there probably is a button that says poll. Got a lot of no's in there. And you know what, that's something pretty common. You can probably see it changing on your screen. Yeses and nos. I'm going to give it about 5 more seconds before I close up the poll. And if it doesn't pop up on your end, that's okay. You can keep using chat and that's fine too. I'll be able to see that as well. And if you do have questions throughout today, you can use chat as well. And if it's something I can incorporate or I know this in our session today, I'll definitely answer that. If it's something that needs to be answered after because it needs a little more time, we'll make sure we get back with you. Okay, let's close this poll up. And it looks like there are many of you who don't have a program in place. And those that do, great job. Congratulations. I'm really happy that you do because we're going to talk about why it is so important. And when we talk about why it's so important, let me get my slide back up. Dang it. Sorry. When we talk about like why it is so important to have employee development, we talk about it because there are so many things that go along with employee development. And when I say that, and what I mean is that the, one second, I apologize for that, technical difficulties. There we go. Now we're back in business. When we talk about employee development and why it's important for several different reasons. We're also going to talk about what does an employee development program need to be successful, how to build a simple plan. We're also going to give you a template that you can take back, start working with today, and then, where are the places that company struggles? And finally, some key takeaways. So, why does employee development even matter? Why do we talk about it? There's a couple stats I'm going to give you, and we'll put these things up there so you can read these as well. But LinkedIn Learning actually found that 94% of employees said that they would stay longer at the company that they're at if they had some kind of career pathing, some sort of development going on. That's a pretty large number of employees. And a Gallup poll found that a lack of career development is one of the top reasons that an employee leaves an organization. And you've probably heard this before, but it takes approximately 1.5 times an annual salary to replace an employee. So if we can keep our employees, it's better off for the organization. They gain organizational knowledge and they have that history there. So we can see it easily improves retention. It's going to increase your engagement of your employees. It's going to drive performance and build your employees up for growth and future success. Now, on the flip side, if we aren't developing our employees, they are going to be unclear on what their expectations are. They may also, you might have managers that aren't developing in the same way, and that sort of thing. So these are the things that we do see most often. There's no clear ownership. Who owns development? We're going to talk about that, who actually owns it. The inconsistency across managers. You might have a manager who really likes employee development, and so they're doing it. And then you may have somebody else who hasn't really gotten into that, or maybe doesn't even know where to start. And that's actually one of the places that Employer Flexible can come in and help you and assist you to get those programs in place so that you have clear ownership and you have a clear path and everybody knows what those expectations are. So 4 components of your strong program: you have clear expectations by the role. It's manager led. They know where the gaps are. They know where an employee growth wants to go because they're having regular meetings with the employee, which leads us into ongoing conversations, making sure that it's not a one and done, once a year sort of thing, but ongoing, so that as an employee might be struggling in an area, you can build them up in their skills. And you want to make sure you're documenting the process. So let's do one more poll. Which of these is your biggest gap today? having clear expectation, manager ownership. And again, if you can't see this, go ahead and put it into chat. Ongoing conversations, lots of things around clear expectations. And I think that the clear expectations is probably one of those things that can be very difficult. Give it another 5 seconds. I'm going to close this up. Alrighty. And so clear expectations was our winner there, but ongoing conversations and management ownership or manager ownership, those are definitely things that can cause some issues along the way. Okay. So thinking about all of these certain things and what it means to have these, let's walk a little bit further into each step. So when we're talking about clear expectations, one of the biggest things that we have to do is we have to define what the role is. What are the skills that we need for that role? And the reason one of the things that is super important is to have a job description. That's going to help you define those roles to know where. And here's the other thing about a job description: somebody may not meet every single piece of that job description, but here's where the development comes in, and you can build them up to having all of those skills. Now, when we're talking specifically about developing, we do want to just focus on 3 to 5. I know it says 3 to 5. I prefer focusing on 3 because I think that that's a little more manageable. And as a skill kind of gets developed, you can move that one off and move something in. Again, that's why we have the ongoing conversations. The next step is to equip your managers. And honestly, this is just as important as building the whole development plan. Making sure your managers know what they need to do. So providing them a guide, setting the expectations for the manager on the frequency of which they need to communicate with their employees, and then ongoing manager communication. I think a lot of times we end up with managers that are really good at the job that they're doing, and they get promoted into a management position, but then we're not providing them the tools and things that they need to be successful as a manager. And so manager training, again, it's as important as the employee training. You want to make sure that they know what to do. And that's another place where Employer Flexible can step in and help you with manager training, because it's one of the most important things in this whole idea of employee development. Now, another thing you want to do is this creating a simple cadence of communication. This is going to look different for every organization. It may look different from department to department. One-on-ones, incredibly important. Having that one-to-one conversation between the manager and employee to discuss not only performance within the job, but where does that person want to develop? Is there a role that they want to develop into? Now, again, different teams are going to look a different way. If you have a manager who has one direct report, they probably are speaking to that employee, and hopefully so, on a very regular, everyday basis. If you have a manager who has 14 direct reports, it may be a little more difficult for them to have more than a one-on-one conversation, more than maybe once a month. Maybe it's once a quarter. But again, it's whatever works best for your organization. And in this, you want to have the documentation. You want it to follow a regular cadence, a regular guideline of everything, but be flexible, because it is important that employee feel comfortable coming in and telling you the things that are going on, maybe within their role and that sort of thing. Because if you cancel that one-on-one, that employee may have had something very important that they needed to tell you, and they were saving it for that moment. So keep your cadence as best as you can. And again, it will look different for your organization depending on how many employees there are, how many managers there are. So documentation, you want to, when you're working through employee development, setting goals, figuring out what coursework they may want to go to continue to develop and stay in your organization, maybe not in the same role because we're developing them up, but you want to use a template. And so I'm going to put this up on the screen for you. There is a very simple template that we've built to for you to use with your managers, with yourself, with your employees, to try to keep it as simple as possible. One of the things that we find is that when you're thinking of employee development and you want to go all in, you may go all in too fast. And keep it simple, start slow. And that will make sure that you are going to complete it and keep it going. Nobody likes to talk about this, but when we talk about documentation and being consistent, it also helps to show if there is some sort of employee issue that comes up. If you've got that documentation in place, it supports you, it supports your organization. So, where do companies struggle? Limited time, right? This is not something that when you think about employee development, it doesn't think about you don't think about how much it's going to impact your organization, but it will. Limited resources. That's one of the reasons why I say always try to keep it simple at first. It doesn't have to be something that's costs a lot of money. There are a lot of free webinars and things out there for developing skills, for learning new things, and that can be a very, very valuable resource for a conversation with the employee. And that doesn't take those free webinars don't take a lot of well, they're free, so they don't take any money, so your resources can be spent in other ways. Manager capability gaps, we've talked about that a little bit. You know, when managers need to also have that consistent development so that they are continuing to grow as a leader. I think that when we talk about managers, we usually think about the checking the boxes, making the things sure that things are going to be done. But the best manager is someone who is a leader, and as they lead, they're making sure that their employees are growing up in the organization. Scaling and consistency, that goes again sort of with the manager piece of everything. And then maintaining momentum. That is something that we see a lot. You get gung-ho, you get excited about it, got all these programs in place, but then it kind of falls off because something else happens or the time of year. And so to prevent that, that's how support makes a huge amount of difference. Through a relationship with Employer Flexible, you have access to tools, templates. One of the best tools that we have are our HR consultants who can help set up a development plan. They'll know about your organization and they can help you grow your organization as they know what is going to be best after they've really gotten into your organization and know about you. Continued manager guidance and training, and then consistency across the teams, and an infrastructure that you can scale, because support drives accountability. And one of the best things about employee development is that accountability that happens. So as you think about employee development, as you look at that template, what I'd like for you to do into chat is, you don't have to do this, but I'm just kind of wanting to, if you would like to, tell us, what is one thing you think you could start on within the next 30 days? Is it using the template maybe with one manager? Is it using it with one employee to see how it works out? What is something that you could do in the next 30 days? Is it getting job descriptions in place? Starting that project? And again, chat's on the right-hand side of your screen. If you don't see it popped up, there should be a button. Yeah, using it with one manager just to see how it works. That's a great way to start. Again, you want to build up and build consistency into it, and using it with one manager would really make a big difference. Yeah, I like that too, like using it with one direct report of yours and seeing how it works. And it's a template that you can use over and over. It is in a PDF. If you feel free to take it out of a PDF, make it a Word doc if you want, and type right into it. It doesn't have to be handwritten. And that way you can change it up a little. It's something that it's just giving you a basis to start and see what works best for you. Yes, absolutely. A review of the job descriptions. You know, Danny, one of the things I think about when we think about job descriptions is if it could be a big project, but one of the best things about job descriptions is it does create that accountability and expectations. Reviewing them once a year, if possible, is such a good help. Um, because you can make sure that it is still the job description. Is it still the role? Has the role morphed into something else? And so that's a great idea. Yes, I like that. So, like having those open-ended conversation, gathering ideas, identifying where it is, kind of in a sense, right? Doing that gap analysis. Where do we have gaps? Where do we need to grow? Um, and then some of that also, do we have the right person in the right job? Is there another job where that person may even benefit more? And that's the cool thing about employee development is it really isn't a one-stop shop. Let's everybody go take a online class about it and check. Really, employee development is personalized. It is personalized for your organization. Thank you for sharing. I really like that. I really like these ideas, and I hope that you will take it back and do it. One more came in. Reviewing the update and the job descriptions, managers meet present. Yeah, they're being present and see who would like to help work on. Oh, I love that of introducing it, getting that buy-in. Great idea, Jennifer, because that's one of the things you have to do is get buy-in into the idea that this is something that is important for the whole organization. And you guys hit all of these things in our chat, starting small and building over time, starting with that one manager, that one direct report, making sure managers are the driver. It's a two people have to work on this, right? The employee, but the manager is so key. So I love that you guys have really thought about that already as well. And making sure that you're consistent and that matters. Again, using the template and that sort of thing, incredibly helpful. And building the structure slowly will help enable success. Is there any questions or anything we can answer? Again, you can put that into chat. If I can't answer it today, we will definitely get back to you. Please know that a recording will be sent out of today. And the other thing is whoever invited you today, reach out to them. They may have some additional resources to share with you. They'll can talk through your current approach, see different things. There's no pressure or anything, just a resource. That's what Employer Flexible is here to be, is a resource. We appreciate all of you for attending today. We'll wait a few minutes for some questions if there are any. And again, thank you so much for attending today. I hope you find the template something that is easy to work with, easy to use. And if you do have any questions about how to use it, again, feel free to reach out to the person who sent you this invitation today. If not, you can always reach out to me as well. My email address is super easy. And if I'm not the person who can answer for you, we'll make sure that you get someone. My email address is just SCOX, my last name, at employerflexible.com. Thank you.